I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
Aha. Well, so the overwhelming proportion of people who are in prisons are male. Now, do you want to equalize that?
What do you think about equality of outcome?
I'm not sure how I think. I'm actually just kind of trying to take in his is he normally just very curt like when he responds, or is he just annoyed at these women?
Seems like he's annoyed, but like about the whole equity versus equality argument, right?
Walk me through that.
Equality is equality of opportunity, equal opportunity, and equity is equal outcomes, right? Mm-hmm. So like, regardless of the opportunity, the outcomes should be equal. So whatever the difference is in performance doesn't matter. They just need to have the same outcome. Mm-hmm. So participation trophies, effectively.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't. I think it should be by merit and how hard you work, not just getting a gold star because you showed up, or
And that's how it's starting to. I don't know if you noticed. That's really what they're starting to do with everything. It's like, if there's differing outcomes between groups, their argument is that there's inherent discrimination there. You get what I'm saying? So if you have a situation where Asians are scoring better in tests than, say, black people, they call that a form of racism, because it has to be because of racism that black people are not performing at the same level as Asians. How do you feel about that?
That makes me think of the whole where I forget where in the country they're trying to do with some STEM
California
subjects. Is it California? I was thinking it was up north or something. But that feels like what is it, soft bigotry or
soft bigotry of low expectations,
right? Yeah. Like it's kind of insulting, really. Yeah. It's like, you're too stupid to meet the standard, so we'll just take off the standard instead of pushing them to meet the standard.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of insulting and offensive. Which
is where I think he's going to go here, because it's a ridiculous argument. It's like, there are other reasons why different groups have differing outcomes that have nothing to do with discrimination. Like this idea that, for example, black people make up 13% of the population. So their argument is that black people should make up that same proportion of, let's say, whatever field in the country, let's say tech workers. And it's like, that's a ridiculous argument. And if they don't make up that same proportion, then it's because of discrimination and racism, which is just completely insane, which is what the point he's about to make here.
Okay.
So let's continue.
Just out of curiosity, what about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And we've got about 3/4 of the population now in universities in the humanities and social sciences are female.
Yeah.
Are we going to equalize that? And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis.
Why are you against the use of ultra?
What do you feel about what he just said?
I think he kind of said what we just were
hit
saying.
The nail on the head.
Yeah, just saying a few moments ago.
He also pointed out the hypocrisy, right? It's like they want to equalize, but not the things where it doesn't benefit them.
Right.
In the same way, it's like, hey, equality, there should be equal representation everywhere. That involves the coveted positions in society. But if it's like deep sea fishermen, nah, y'all could be like 99% men.
So is it equality or preferential treatment?
it's equality plus.
Equality plus.
Yeah, it's a la carte equality. It's like, I want this, this,
I
that.
want to be able to do all the easy stuff,
Exactly.
or the comfortable stuff that you guys do, but I don't want to do any of the hard stuff.
I want all the benefits of every group and none of the negatives. Right? It's like, so he points out the prison population, the workplace deaths, just all of these things where no one talks about equalizing.
Yeah.
It's always the tech CEOs, the $1 million sweet cushy jobs that they want to equalize, and it reveals the motive behind it. It's not about equality; it's about power. It's about power. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's a power play. It's not. It could be, if it was really about equality, then they'd be, petitioning for construction working to be equalized, for deep sea fishermen, oil rig workers, all like, you rarely hear it about the fact that the majority of workplace deaths are men. You don't hear an argument going, hey, like, we need to figure out why this is happening. And if they do make an argument, it's to shame men as if, it's because men are too toxic. It's because they're just like aggressive and they don't care and they don't value their life. Like, it's always, it's never.
They don't value their lives. Why would you assume a man doesn't value his life?
You know what I mean? It's always this.
Values their life.
If as a man you have an issue that you want to be addressed, which generally most dudes don't care to bring those up, you get shamed for it. It's your fault. It's victim blaming. But because you're perceived as overall, right, like the oppressor, quote unquote, you can't in any way be victimized. Which is an interesting argument. Let me pose you a question. Do you think, let's say a king, right? Let's take the most extreme example of an oppressor, a dictator, a king.
Okay.
Can they ever be a victim?
That's hard to think of in that example because my brain wants to say no.
They can never be a victim of anything?
I mean, I'm sure they could, but if you're the king, if you're the dictator, one would assume you're in charge and have power over most things, and so
they couldn't get assassinated, you don't think? Or like they couldn't, like, you don't, could a queen ever be a victim? Because a queen would be on that same level of power, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If the
she
queen
could get
was the head,
she could get abused.
If the queen was the head of the system and not just a partner,
she could get abused.
Yeah.
Right? Let's be real. If a queen got abused, they would say, "Hey, what the fuck? This is an example of why women can never have power." They would make it an example. Right? So it's not about the power. It's literally a power play. Because the queen is, realistically speaking, in any society, probably the second most powerful person. Like, she's in the top 5 easily. So she's a net oppressor. You get what I'm saying?
Well,
a queen is a net oppressor. Like, let's be real.
What do you mean she's the second most powerful person?
Okay, a queen is a net oppressor. Do you agree with that?
I guess so.
She's in charge. Like, she's like in the elite class. Like, she's not like.
I'm just, because when you said a second in command, I'm thinking she's a queen to a king.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, because then I wouldn't think she would have any power, or not that she wouldn't have any power, but she doesn't. She would probably only have power of influence, I would think.
Okay, what about a queen whose husband dies and she's now, like, say, for example, Queen Elizabeth? Not husband dies, but just she's the queen.
She's the head.
She's the head.
Well, yeah, I would think that's the same as a king.
Can she be abused? Can you imagine a scenario where you would identify her as a victim?
Runs up and smacks. Like, physically
we can
abused.
get more creative. Like, I'm not going to say the word, but we know, like, things that can happen to women that we would characterize as abuse.
Okay.
Can that happen to her?
I mean, yeah, technically it could happen.
Not even technically. That's a very real thing. Like, it could happen to her. Maybe she gets lost somewhere and like someone plans something or kidnaps her. Like queens have been killed before, and like
or like that time someone snuck into the palace and
something can happen. But the point is, she can be victimized, right?
yeah, that's true.
So you were under the impression that people like net oppressors can't be victimized. So they can be victimized, but if you
if you break it down like that, because just on the face of it, if you just say this dictator, this, whoever.
Everyone can be victimized. That's what the point I'm making is everyone can be a victim.
Yeah.
Whatever your position, you could be the most powerful person on the planet. That to say you can't be victimized is to suggest they are immune to injustice.
You mean just like on a base level of humanity?
Of humanity, yeah.
Okay.
To say you can't be victimized is to say you're immune to injustice. But when men are victimized, or groups that are considered net oppressors, they're told to shut up, as if they're immune to injustice. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's ridiculous because it reveals this critical lack of empathy, and that's what it is. They don't care about what they're saying. They care about power. That's what they care about. They care about power and asserting their will and their interests, and they're going to ignore reality and suspend their good reason if they need to advance their cause and their beliefs. You get what I'm saying? So that's the point he's making. He's making the point that you can't, just ask for equality on one level. Excuse me. And ignore the other parts where it's like, oh yeah, let's not equalize that.
Like the
inconvenient and the uncomfortable things,
the laborious.
Yeah.